Good afternoon. It's July 14th. We're going to talk about today's market. How do you analyze the real estate market? Well, the same thing, the same way you analyze everything else. You use the facts and the comparisons. Prices, inventory, comparable sales, days on market, sales price per square foot, location, property characteristics. What we don't do is analyze the market based on the actives, the Zillows, the Realtor.com. You have to look at the pendings and the solds. In today's market, you have to say, what do we focus on? And I'm going to tell you right now, I am going to focus on the pendings and the solds. If you are shopping, we're going to compare those to the actives. And what we're going to look at, when we do it tonight, is the raw data. And this sets up for the statistic that happened over time. So what is your motivation are you analyzing the market because you want to buy something? Are you analyzing the market because you want to sell something? Do you have resources you want to put to work? Your motivation is going to help determine what the analysis that we should be making should be. We always want to look at inflation as a recognition that over time the value of houses will probably continue to rise. We're going to look at tonight's market. We're going to look at apples to apples. We're going to compare block homes to block homes. We're going to compare properties with criteria that match the criteria if you're shopping or if you're selling something, that criteria. And we're going to look at each type of property to determine the marketplace for that property. And finally, I want to have an opportunity. I'd like you to use a Chat GPT channel. It's called Real Estate Tips. I use it. It's helpful, and you might find it of value too. It's on Chat GPT. You have to open up and put a password and your email in there to use Chat GPT, and then you can go on to all kinds of different Chat GPT sites. But mine is called Real Estate Tips, and you're free to go on there and check it out. All right, so let's talk about the market. The way that I look at the market is by looking at one county in particular as a microcosm for the whole state of Florida. And I use Pasco County as my preferred county for analysis. So we're going to look in the bottom corner here and see there's 4,685 properties available in Pasco County. Let's look at the pendings. And there are 1,627, and that number's been going up. That's a really good sign. Actually, actives at 4,685. We were at 4,700 over the weekend, so a bunch of stuff went under contract over the weekend, and not a lot of new listings were listed, although we could look at that. There's 1,425 solds for the 30-day period that I'm looking at. That number's not great. That number was over 1,500 recently. So what we see is actives gone down, solds went down, and pendings went up. So let's look at a particular criteria that everybody has an interest in. Let's look at 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and let's look at 2-car garage homes as an analysis. And each time I do one of these market analysis, I pick a criteria because it's got to be apples to apples, and I can't look at anything that's not comparable to itself. So it's showing there's 219 properties that are 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms and a 2-car garage. What I want to do now is I want to take out all the condominiums and the mobile homes and just look at single family residences. That we only lost one. Isn't that interesting? And I also am a very large advocate of buying out of the flood zones. If you're buying, and you probably have looked at the cost of flood insurance, and that is kind of scary. So 195 homes are not in a flood zone. And let's take out the housing for older people. I'm sure there aren't too many 4-bedroom homes. There are 2. What a surprise. And then let's do average monthly fees at 0. And this will take us out of the properties that are in deed restricted communities with HOAs. So we have 23 properties. Let me just take a quick look at them and see what the prices are, and I'll show you how I can add some back. So the cheapest property is $315, and there are 10 properties below $409,000. So let's go ahead and use $400,000 as our price point, $400,000 or less. So that gives us 9 homes. Now, when you're shopping, if you've got a $400,000 budget and that all of a sudden becomes the biggest thing, you'd be happy to take a 5-bedroom house. Are there any? No, there aren't. Let's see. You take a 3-bathroom house, I'm sure. And that gave us 6 more properties. So if you're shopping for a 422, these actually right here, these are the more desirable homes under uh, 400,000 because they have a 3rd bathroom. And let's look at the 2-car garages. We'd be happy to take a 3-car garage. And that brings us up to only 5 properties. I'd like to see more, so I'm going to go ahead and leave this as 2 plus, and that'll bring us back up to 10 properties that we can look at. Excuse me, 16 properties. Had to adjust. So let's take a quick look at these. 300, 315, 320, 330. What jumps out at me is this one's only 1,300 square feet, so that's pretty undesirable in the scheme of things. It's the smallest house. So I would take that out, Sea Hills. Okay, this Orchid Lake Village is a really nice neighborhood for this price. It's a good school zone. It's $320,000. It's on a quarter of an acre, and I call it a good choice. Another Orchid Lake Village for $10,000 more, and so if we were 4 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, two bathrooms, hopefully more, 345, 349, and I'm sure we could do the same list for 3-bedroom houses, and we would find out that there's just going to be a whole lot more choices. But the 4th bedroom is pretty valuable. But how valuable is it? Let's find out by looking at the pendings. There's 16 pending, or excuse me, 6 pendings in this criteria. Regency Park at 230. Somebody got a deal. 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a 2-car garage went into contract in 3 days. This one went into contract in Zephyr Hills in 25 days. 41 days to go into contract in the Lakes in Port Richey. The Lakes are desirable because they have higher ceilings and larger lots. 339,000 in Bear Creek. Good 1,746 square feet. What we don't see from here is what the price per square foot is on the solds. Look at this, $350,000, 83 days, but only 1,200 square feet. And here's a very nice home, $387,000, works out to $229 a square foot. So let's become real experts. Let's look at the solds because this is what the true market is right here. There's 6 properties that have sold in this criteria. Ooh, 33. Boy, I spoke too soon every single time. All right, let's go back 30 days. I don't want to have too many, and I want to have the most recent transactions. 8. We'll be able to see who got a deal. Deal. Who got the deal? So this one went for $183 a square foot. It took a year. They were asking call it 350, and it sold for 270. So that the days on market, when you see that big days on market, you don't know. Okay. 265,000 sold over the asking price by $13,000 in 2 days, $147 a square foot. That's a really terrific number. Regency Park, $340,000 sold for $302,000, $195 a square foot. Golden Acres, very desirable. Asking 325, sold for 325 in 0 days. And this is acreage. This is 2 to 5 acres. So this was an orchestrated transaction, I'm sure, because they would likely have gotten over the asking price if they had let it go out to the market. Look at this. It's a 1-car garage, and they're advertising it as a 2-car garage. 324,994. Is this new construction? No. 1979 house. $221 a square foot. 385,000 sold for 345,000, took 40,000 off the price. And this is 1 to 2 acres. Wow, there's been some great deals in here. These long days on markets, you can offer less apparently. 399,000 sold for 395,000 in 18 days. 396,000 sold for full price in 0 days. What does it mean? Well, it depends on what your criteria is, and if you have one and you'd like me to do an analysis, I'd love to do it. Or you can go on to my chat GPT. Let me go ahead and show it to you. This is Real Estate Tips, Randal Jenkins. That's me. Hi. So let's just ask it a question. How have the sales been for 4/2 plus two, oops, 2+2s? How have the sales been for 4/2 2s? No flood zones and single family residences. Now, I have no idea what it's going to say, and I don't know if it's going to correlate with what we just discovered or if this is going to be a older data. Here's what I'm seeing in the market for 4 bedroom, 2 bath plus single family residences in non-flood zones around Tampa. The median price in Hillsborough County is $500K. In Pasco County, the median price is $259,000 in Hudson. I think that's a little lower. 4 bedroom, 2 bath for nothing in Port Richey. Tampa's a stronger market, higher pricing, more inventory, and quicker sales. Pasco is lower prices, fewer rentals, longer days on market, but homes are well priced and attractive. Buyer seller strategy. Buyers, you'll see 4 2s listed from 250 to 325. Expect 45 to 90 days on the market. Sellers, price competitively around 260 to 300. I don't think it's that weak. This might have come out. Some of this data's got to be pulling it down from after Helene and Milton and up to about February. Yeah, I think this data is being dragged down. The averages are being dragged down. Yeah, this is very interesting. Good value in Pasco County. Would you like to run a comparative market analysis for specific zip codes? All right, anyway, I'm Randy Jenkins. I appreciate you watching. If you have an interest in this price range, please reach out. We can look at the 3 2s, but for the same money, if you can get the 4th bedroom, I think it'll be very valuable for you in the long run. Talk to you soon.